What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Taylor Green Show from our stage at the HQ. In today's episode, I want to dive into a principle that we hear all the time and kind of go over the pros and cons of it and my thoughts around it, and hopefully it will help you. And so that concept is being all in. And are you all in? And we hear this all the time in our personal lives as well as in the business world. And I think there's a lot of truth to it, but there's also some caveats that we need to understand into that mentality. Because it can be your biggest strength, but it can also be your biggest hindrance to get you off track and get you from attaining what you actually could based on what's going on in your life. And so the first thing is the pro. When you're all in on something, nothing else matters. There's no excuses. There's no things that can come in and get you off track. You have to go all in. And one really, really good example for me recently with this principle is Taylor Green Media and this show. So Mike and I have known each other for years. We've done ventures together. We've coached each other in different areas of our life over the last 2 years. But we decided that just a little while ago, we were going to go all in on Taylor Green Media. We were going to show up to the office every day. We were going to work. We were going to make it our number one priorities. And so I think the first thing with all in is that word priorities. And we always have enough time. Time is an illusion. Everything can be fit in, but it's all about the priorities that you place. And so I want you to think about when you're saying the words all in, you're really talking about what is your number one priority for you to go and handle. And that could be in different sectors of your life. It could be what am I all in my relationships? What am I all in on to make money? What am I all in on in my health? But those things become the top priority. And if you find yourself not achieving what you want, it's probably not that you're not all in. It's probably that it's just not a big enough priority for you to actually go through and make the sacrifices necessary to get it done. And so in business, sometimes we got to do things we don't like. For example, some of the operational tactical things, if you know me at all, I'm not very good at them. And I'll sit there and waste 2 hours of time, getting better at this, but I'll waste hours on what could be a 40-minute task because I just don't want to do the task. And so really look at your skills, what your priorities are, and how can you be all in. Now, there's one caveat to all in that I think if you can understand this principle, it's going to help you prioritize things better and really understand if you're all in or not. And based on different things going outside of your control. And so when I was getting my MBA, one of the things that I learned, probably the number one thing I learned there, was how to do data and analytics modeling. And so you take numbers, you take statistics, and you put it in to get your best projections of an outcome that you're looking for. But one of the main principles of this data modeling is that you have constraints. And so you'll be given a problem, and inside of that problem, you have constraints to get to, for example, a supply chain issue. How many products of X, Y, and Z can we create in a certain amount of time? And without any constraints, you could say, great, we can create unlimited amounts of product X, Y, and Z. Except then you start adding constraints. And so one of those constraints could be, okay, every single product, X, Y, and Z, need part A. Okay, so X, Y, and Z all need part A, and we only have 1,000 units of part A. So that means right now we're limited to the first constraint, which means I can have 1,000 units total because that's how many of part A that we actually have. Then the next constraint could be, but profitability numbers on Y is significantly higher than Z, which means we want to create more of Y so that we can make more money. So that's as far into it as I'll go, but hopefully you get the point of these constraints that end up looking on where are you actually going to get your end result and the number that you're looking for. And so if you take this from a non-quantitative and more qualitative into our life, we have all kinds of constraints on our time and different things in our life, stresses. The priorities are changing between work, our personal life, our own health. And so those I want you to start looking at as constraints. And so I'll give you an example from my life recently. So last week, my wife was out of town. She went on a girls' trip to Disney World, and I'm training for an Ironman. And so I knew that a new constraint was going to enter into my life, which was I cannot go to the gym, right? Because I've got to watch my kids, I've got to work. And so it just wasn't going to work in the schedule that I had for 5 days. And so I had a choice. Do I quit working out? Do I fall off my plan completely? Or do I just adjust it based on the constraint that I can't go to the gym? And so I adjusted it. Things continued to progress. Really is an example of, instead of being all in or all out, which I think is what kills all of us all the time, is we look at constraints and we adjust the end solution to the problem based on the new constraints. And it's just like data modeling. The constraints are always changing in the problem, but once you identify them, it's easier for you to continue to get the most ideal outcome in your life, in your business, and everything that you're doing. So take that mentality into everything that you do. I think you'll see more success and less stress, and you'll be able to continually move the needle forward instead of having these massive highs and massive lows. It'll just continually be moving slowly up and down, and you'll see more success, be more happy, and keep crushing it. Thanks for watching today's episode, guys. Like, share, subscribe. Get this out into people that you think it will help as well. We really appreciate it. See you on the next episode.